All right, so if you've been following my Quadra 950 restoration here, you know that I had a blown or burnt uh, surface mount tantalum capacitor. So I ordered a soldering iron and a new capacitor and whatnot, and I'm gonna take a shot at replacing it. And here, keep in mind, this is my first real solder job here. And so I'm kind of just like nervously poking around, trying to see what happens when I try to get this thing up. It's like broken in half from when it burnt. Um, and here I'm going to put a little pressure on it, which I really shouldn't have been doing because, yeah, it came up, but it ripped off the pad off the board right there. But luckily, the trace didn't break. But it still has some of the capacitor stuck to it right there. So let me get this little piece of capacitor out of the way here. And so now I got one good pad, and I got another piece stuck to the other pad, but the pad's not on the board. Only the trace is holding it in, and and I guess the flux that I use here, I put a bunch of flux on it, but I don't know. This flux is weird. Oh yeah, that's right here. I took up some of the excess solder with the wick here off the good pad. I probably should have just left it alone, but yeah, this flux I have here is hard as a rock, and the videos I saw of people using it looked like some kind of gel, but it gets, it turns to liquid with the soldering iron, so I guess that's right. Trying to get that up, probably should have left alone. All right, now I need to get this other piece off of this pad. I'm just trying to see the best way to transfer that heat. Get a little better view angle on it. Clean the tip off. See, there we got it. The burnt piece of capacitor stuck to the soldering iron, and the pad is loose, but it's still intact from everything that I can tell. I guess when that capacitor exploded, it kind of burnt out underneath it, and there's a stuck piece. So there you go. And I ended up fixing the pad, which I'll show you here in a minute. I did that off camera because at this point I was going to look for a professional, but then I kind of decided to try to fix it in place myself. So there you can see where it's up off, and that flux is kind of all over the place there. But now I got it put back down, and I think it's going to work like that. Now I got the replacement capacitor right here. Doing a lot of looking and thinking, and remember, first serious solder job. I think it came out pretty well, considering. You'll see at the end here. I guess the worst part of it is that pad. Trying to get it centered, and then trying to figure out how to hold it still and in place while I heat that thing up. Ah, the paper clip. That'll do it. Trying to heat it up just enough so it won't move, so it'll stay stuck with whatever little bit of solder is already there. Still moving. It's not down yet. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good now. It's holding more flux. For those of y'all that know, can you ever have too much flux? And should my flux be solid as a rock like this, or should it be, more of a liquid where I can scoop it? I can't scoop it except with the hot soldering iron. Yeah, look, that thing's stuck down now. Take some photos here. They came out a little blurry. I guess I moved too much when I pushed the button. And I probably shouldn't have used the GoPro for this video. It's just not as detailed as I want in that narrow field of view. The resolution goes down. Here's those photos. So you see it's on there, but it's not on there with a bunch of solder. But I'm going to go ahead and put one drop on each side. Better get some flux. That last bit was probably a little too much. But I guess better too much than not enough, as long as it isn't shorting out something else. I must say, I think that looks pretty good for a first. It's not my first time soldering, but like I said, my first important time. The first time anything was computer small and actually mattered, because I'm really not trying to ruin this board. All the other stuff I was messing with, wires or whatever, you just cut it off and start again, I gotta shine some light on the subject here to see what I'm working with. I'm gonna go for the other side, so I'm hoping when I heat everything up, all that solder and the flux does what it's supposed to do and help it bond all together and I hope none of that flux, the way it got so solid, is, you know, not letting this circuit close. But it looks pretty good when it's done, so I hope it'll be all right. I'll tell you, if this works, I'm gonna be trying to solder all types of stuff. This wasn't as bad as I thought. And there's the other side, so I think that's gonna work. All right, so we're good. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next part where we put her back together and see if she'll fire up. All right.